welcome everyone to episode 151 of 1 Hour, 1 Decision, 1H1D. I'm Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, yet another sequel, but is Watch Dogs 2 worth our time?
There are lots of Ubisoft games, and we'll talk about all of them here, I think.
I guess we will. We will. And yes, we are talking about Watch Dogs 2 by Ubisoft Montreal. And this game, now this was surprising to me. I didn't realize how far back this is, but this game came out in November of 2016. Yeah. It's an old boy at this point. It's an old dog. It's an old dog.
Will it learn new tricks?
We'll find out. I played this on the PC, 31.2 gigabytes on the PC. And Tom, I have to let you know, this was 31.2 gigabytes on the PC with the high resolution textures.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what about you?
Still bigger on the Series S, presumably with not as high resolution textures. 33.4 gigabytes on the Series S.
That's a big boy. That's a
It is, but it's big for 2016 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not big in the modern,
Yeah, because that's true. That's true. I'll give you that. But what kind of game is this?
I put very simply third-person action. I think you've got a better rundown.
I put third-person open-world hacking game because that's what you do in this game. You hack. I mean, there's other things, of course, but that was, what I figured was the filtered down thing here. So
it is a driving force in the game, and so as I tell you my game loop, you will not be surprised that word shows up here.
Well, let's get into it. What is that game loop?
I have traverse open environments, completing objectives, and hacking to level up your character and advance the plot.
Yeah. I have complete objectives around you using the tools you get to upgrade along the way. I didn't actually put hacking in that because I figured hacking was already in my kind of game. So
you already covered it.
It's already covered. It's already covered. We just put our hacking word in different places.
Yes. We both agree that you hack in this game.
You definitely hack. Not like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of hack or Freddy
coughing up a lung.
Or coughing up a lung. That's right. No, this is the computer type of hacking.
Yes, the digital
way of hacking. I guess you can almost say there's some social engineering in there in this game as well, but I digress. Let's get into some of the likes of this game, Tom.
So I want to point out, since we're talking about hacking, I'll jump around my list a little bit.
Yeah.
I like that the hacking is treated like a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Like there's a part in the early game where you have to like infiltrate and hack into a computer system. Mm-hmm. And you do that by kind of visualizing this puzzle on the map.
Right.
And going over to certain areas and like toggling things over to create like a path.
Yeah.
That then opens up a door or hacks open some kind of resource.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked it. I was like, oh, okay. It's not just click A, go over here, look at the camera kind of thing. There was more to it.
It's
like a little puzzle game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and in a way, I guess real life hacking is kind of like a puzzle, right? You're trying to figure out how to get into these systems, but they just do it in a more elegant way in the game, as opposed to maybe the brute force stuff that maybe some real life hackers have to do on their daily hacking business. I don't know. I will say, the other kind of cool thing, I thought the overall presentation of this game was really cool. Like you start off, it looks like a DOS prompt or a Linux bash script or whatever, like a bash shell. Sorry, everyone that's really big into computers. I apologize there. But it has it starts off with that. At first I was like, oh, did the game actually break? Because it's an Ubisoft game. It's potentially that it got broken. And so it was like, oh God. But no, that was part of the game. And overall, it was just very slick, a very slick presentation. And usually Ubi does a pretty good job with that. But they really put their foot in this one in terms of making sure you are aware you're playing a game where you have to hack computers and stuff like that. So, just letting you know right in there, right at the beginning. And you and I kind of talked about this in our notes here. Stealth mechanics work pretty well in this game. Traversing it himself, yeah.
So Assassin's Creed, also by Ubisoft, is a stealth. Also Ubisoft. They're stealth games, right?
Yeah.
But the stealth here, a lot of it is, tech focused.
Sure.
And I like the way that your character moves, and switching cover is easy. I feel like it's important that this be done well, because you're doing so much stealth.
Yeah.
Like this is not really a game where you're going to be running up and punching a lot of people. I mean, I guess you could. It's available to you if you want to do that, but that's kind of not the point.
Right. It is, you are not the Doom guy, but you are just a regular guy that knows his way around corporate systems, I guess. Yeah. And he's not lifting weights. He's lifting lifting keyboards. I don't know. Whatever the case is, you're doing that, and I agree. Like, if Ubi couldn't get the stealth mechanics with that pedigree, that would have been a problem. That would have been a real big problem. The other thing I want to say with the movement, I don't know if you felt this, but the game had reminded me a little bit with Mirror's Edge, with the way that it controlled too. Especially because I play this on the controller because I can't play third-person games on mouse and keyboard. But you hold the right trigger, right? And then if you press forward while you're holding the right trigger, you automatically do certain actions, right? Like, is it like if you're jumping or like traversing an area that's not just a flat plane? So I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know why it reminded me of like a Mirror's Edge. Like it was very smooth in the way you were transitioning or moving throughout the world in that way. So it's cool. It's cool.
Well, Mirror's Edge has a very like tech hack kind of aesthetic to it. So that might be part of what you were feeling there.
Yeah. So
speaking of those sorts of things, I like that this story is kind of a glimpse at our present, but also our future.
Yeah.
Like, it does feel very grounded in reality, but also, it was made in 2016. Here we are, quite a number of years later. They've made some predictions in a fashion. Some of those things are our present day. So, we live in a surveillance state. If you don't know that, we do.
Yeah. Hi, welcome.
Hi, welcome,
overlords. Yes. Yeah, I agree. There's definitely a lot of stuff that they touch on, socio-political stuff that that is unfortunately part of our real world situation nowadays. We got people that are putting microchips into their brains for whatever reason. So hey, why not? Why not go lean into that a little bit and make a game about it? The game also has co-op, which I didn't get to try, but it is there, which is kind of cool for an open world hacky kind of game. But I think, again, I think Ubi kind of sneaks this co-op stuff into like all their games, and I mean, I'm here for it. I like the fact that you could play this game side by side with a buddy, and this is an open world game. And I appreciate that the fact that fast travel was like almost immediately available. The fact that you can, there is an intro scene, like the one that you mentioned, where you're kind of hacking into this corporate system. You can right after that, you're kind of dropped into this scenario where now it's like, okay, the world's opened up to you. Figure out how to traverse. You could literally walk to your next objective or whatever, however you want to do it, but you could just fast travel. And I was like, cool, I can do that right there. I'm great. I'm good with that. And it was nice. It was a nice little option.
I appreciate that you fast traveled there. It sounds like you did. Yeah. And I took the long way. And the long way was actually a lot of fun. Like,
was it? Okay.
I got in a car. I ordered a car using the app system that they have, which is pretty neat. Like your phone and the apps. It's a cool way that they've integrated like skills, abilities, game mechanics are all kind of folded into your cell phone, right? It's unsurprising that your phone is your life. And so I ordered a car. I picked out the color and the make and stuff like that. It was like basically dropped off. I walked over to it, got into it, drove it to the marina, hopped into a boat, and then drove the boat across, parked it on the other side, and then got out and walked over. Yeah, it was. So I got to do a little bit of light exploring on the way to that objective.
Nice. And like, I mean, I didn't really interact with the world too much because, like I said, I was struggling. I was trying to get as much as I could out of the first hour. But did the world feel lived in for you?
Oh yeah, I got. I hit a lady with my car. Or I almost did. I almost did. I don't think I actually hit her.
Right.
And she came up, pulled me out of the car, Grand Theft Auto style, and slapped my character.
Wow.
And then I just decked her.
Okay, well, there you go.
You know, and then
that's your appropriate
but it was like, I mean, she started it, right? She pulled me out of her car and
absolutely
physically assaulted me. So.
You have a right to protect yourself.
I was like, whoa, okay, that was out of line. All right, I clearly didn't hit you, because if I hit you, the ambulance would be over here, right? Like,
or the morgue, whatever. Anyway, the thing is, I agree with you. Going back to the phone thing, I thought the whole upgrade system was really cool. It was like you mentioned before. It kept you in the game. It wasn't like, it didn't feel like you were going into the game's UI. It was like your character's kind of world and your character's UI. And I thought the progression system looked like it could be a lot of fun. The different types of hacking that you could do. So it was kind of fun to see all that. Like how you can hack cars, you can hack people and their phones, and like make them do stuff because you mess with them in some certain way. It was kind of neat. It was kind of cool to see like what are the possibilities? What kind of trouble can I really get into in this game?
Right.
So that was cool. You mentioned something about something on the playlist.
Yeah. So I noticed on the music playlist, so I downloaded the playlist app and was looking at, you can customize what you're listening to as you're like traversing the world, and there is a musician on the playlist called Dual Core who I happen to know personally.
Oh,
so I was very excited to see that. I was like, hey, okay.
Nice.
And indie rappers that I know, and they're on the playlist, and I was stoked to see it. So
well done. Well done, Dual Core, being on Watch Dogs too.
Yeah.
Hey, why not? Cool. Anything else you want to bring up here before we get to our dislikes?
I did like that. Like, as you're looking at different people, you can kind of learn a little bit about them, using the hacks and I guess their social media presence and stuff like that.
Right.
And they would use, I guess maybe it's auto-generated, I don't know, but there would be occupations listed that were just silliness. Like one of them that I saw was related to a famous magician. Not musician, magician.
Hey.
And I was like, that's not an occupation, but okay.
Hey.
I think they were...
It could be one of the his entourage, part of that whole thing.
I guess maybe that's what they were going for. But there were a number of just silly. It wasn't like lawyer, doctor, nurse kind of thing. It was like these ridiculous things.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, kind of going back to the whole presentation of this game, it was just like it's pretty lighthearted in a way. There's still some serious stuff that's happening in the game, but it is presented in kind of a comical or kind of goofy way. But so good on them for trying that. And we talked about the good. Let's talk about that bad.
Oh boy. So the tutorial was a bit hit or miss for me. There were times when it was extremely handholdy, where you really all you needed to do was hit A, basically. And then there were other times where it just kind of dropped you in a space and it didn't really tell you what to do. Like it gave you like a big picture objective, but didn't really explain how to accomplish that. Right. And so I'd be wandering around pressing buttons, trying to figure out how to get the key to do the thing. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, but you were just holding my hand so severely that it was obnoxious. I don't know. Walk the line, I guess. There's got to be a happy middle ground.
Right. I guess in a way, it felt like there was multiple designers on this tutorial and they just weren't talking to each other.
Yes.
I agree. I thought the idea, like how they presented the tutorial, was kind of cool because, You were dropped into the game. It wasn't like a separate kind of tutorial section. You are, your character is trying to, I'm going to use this word, but I don't know if I'm using it right, expunge themselves from this global social media network and kind of reset their whole record. And this is their way to get into this hacking group duo. I don't know, it's a group. It's more than 2 people in there. And this is their way to prove that they can get, they're that good. And like it's a test. It's absolutely a test. And if you don't pass, you fail and you get to try it over again. But it is the tutorial. And I agree with you though. There was like, it felt very kind of shaky, like there's bumps in doing that, which is unfortunate. What I also thought was unfortunate was there was just, these hackers are potty mouths. Yeah. Everyone in this game was just like dropping F-bombs whenever they felt like it.
This is not a game you should let your children play or
but
watch you play.
I think in the settings you can turn it off. Like I think you can turn off the language, which I'm interesting. I didn't realize how like rated R they were going for at this game. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just see how it goes. But I might have clutched a pearl or two while they were talking. So, the other thing that made me clutch my pearls is like some of the lines in this game. Again, I get that this game is supposed to be a little like tongue in cheek, but it was like, oh boy, did like someone from a Steven Seagal movie write some of these lines? Like this was, that was rough. Some of it was rough, but it is what it is. But I think Ubi, it can be hit or miss with their writing. Sure. I think, and for me at least, it was a miss. So what else did you not like about this?
I did have a note here that the audio mix was off for me. Like some of the dialogue was like recorded very low. So it like there were points even in just that tutorial chapter, which you would think would be really squeaky clean and perfect because it's the tutorial.
It's the first thing you play.
But like there was a point where it was just very low, where it was like guards talking, and it just sounded like it was happening in another room, even though it was happening right in front of me.
Oh.
And I was like, this is weird. And then like the next part of the dialogue was, much louder.
Yeah.
Just threw me a little bit. Took me out of the experience, which is no good.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to point out is that, unsurprisingly, cutscenes and exposition take up a lot of the playtime.
Oh yeah,
especially in this early part of the game, and with this first hour.
Yeah.
So maybe we didn't really get to feel a lot of the depth of the game because of that. But I do feel like, because I want to put a little asterisk here, I do feel like I got a good overview of the game in general. I think because of the way it starts and it drops you into the middle of things and then puts you, right as you finish that, now you're in the open world and you can do exploring if you want to, which I did.
Yeah.
So I got to taste a lot of the game even in that first hour. So I think that was pretty well done, even though it is a very story-driven game, and so you're watching a lot of cutscenes, and it is very like on rails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is an open world game, and it is also, well, we'll get into it in our other thoughts here, but I thought this game was going to be a lot longer, but I did feel like I wasn't really far into the game, which is true. And because it is an open world game, you can get lost in the random, because there's like, obviously you have your main missions, but then there's side missions that pop up and they tell you that that's going to happen while you're going through the world. Things are going to happen that you can, pick up and start doing. So I could see a lot of squirrel movements for me in this game where I'm like, okay, I got to do, oh no, wait, I got to do this now. So that was it. And because I was playing this on the PC, I unfortunately had to use the Ubi Connect UI, which is not great, I got to say. I literally, I almost like, actually, this is the first time I loaded Ubi Connect and it didn't ask me to do an update. So I was surprised. I think like, oh, he's actually playing an Ubi game. So let's not do this. Like,
we'll ask him next time.
We'll ask him next time. But literally every time it asked me to update and then restart and then ask me to log in again, even though I tell it to save my current password. So that stinks. Ubi,
Well,
get it together.
I've got to tell you that even on the Xbox, and I don't know if you experience this on the PC, because we're getting to this game pretty light in its life cycle. Yeah. I had to go through like a number of prompts of like, oh, here's some new content. Here's some new content. Here's some new content. And I'm like, it's not, I mean, it's all new content to me. Like I've never played the game before.
Yes.
I feel like
I did experience that as well.
That as a developer, I feel like you got to be smarter about that. I don't know how you handle it, but if this is the first time that they're turning on the game, like, you don't need to hit somebody with 12 prompts about new content.
I mean, use the phone app in the game. Like have a little notification here. Hey, here's new content if you want to check it out. You don't need to hit me over the head with the fact that there's new content. I like you said, I'm just starting the game. Let me try to play the game. So that's unfortunate. What else? And it's kind of like my other thoughts here, but what is disappointing also, okay, I'll give it the fact that it is a fairly old game at this point, but the fact that there is no crossplay, there is no your cross saves rather. So my playtime on the PC does not count if I were going to go and play it on the Xbox. Oh, so that's unfortunate. But
especially with an online game, because it is
exactly
online connected, you'd think they would handle that.
Yeah, but I guess the good thing is if you play this game on your Xbox, you can play it on Xbox Cloud. So that that's there. It's just if you're starting it on PC with, your high resolution textures and stuff like that, you can't go back and play it on your wimpy X Cloud and pick up right where you left off, which it is what it is. And any other thoughts here, Tom?
I touched on it there in the dislikes, but they added a lot of online modes since the game's initial release. So you can play cooperative, you can play competitive, and like lots of different ways. Neither of us touched it, but there's a lot there. Yeah. Like you can play this as a single player game, which both of us did. But if you like playing online and with other people, like there's tons available for you there, and that progress affects your single player game. So good way to, grind out, get some levels, get some in-game currency, whatever you can,
absolutely
play that way. I put also here, I looked up, I saw obviously this is a second Watch Dogs game. Mm-hmm. The developer took criticisms of that first game pretty seriously. And so they overhauled the driving mechanics for this game, pulling in the teams from the driver series to work on it. So the idea that they're listening, I think is good and should be given kudos for.
Right.
They also hired real hackers as consultants to make sure that the story was believable, and so that they also used the correct jargon when you have all these people talking to each other. So I appreciate, going to the source and getting some bona fide people who know the material.
So that the hackers really do just drop all those F-bombs during their conversations.
I probably, I would think they just probably sat in on some of this stuff and were like, well, I guess this is just how they talk.
Amazing. All right. Well, good to know. Good to know. I will also say How Long to Beat says this game, if you golden path it, takes about 19 hours to complete.
All right.
So not too bad. Not too bad to complete the game if you really stay focused, I guess, and not just do many side missions. So there's that. And like I mentioned, it does have Xbox Cloud capabilities, and I guess your saves will work between the cloud and Xbox, but not on PC. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as we get into our final thoughts here, Tom. Is this a game we're going to keep on our respective hard drives, or Control-Alt-Delete this, Alt-F4, DEL ****? I don't know. This game.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think this game has a very Grand Theft Auto vibe to it.
Yeah.
And normally for me, that's a problem because I don't like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
But this protagonist, despite his potty mouth, is much more normal and likable than a GTA protagonist. They're not, I mean, they're a criminal, but not in the way that we would think of, not necessarily a terrible person.
Right.
So I'm already more inclined to be interested in their story and, moving against the surveillance state and stuff like that is an interesting premise versus just a group of ne'er-do-wells who are just going to go and create havoc just to create havoc because they're bad people.
Right.
That said, the whole open world thing is just not really my bag.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be in the mood for it. It has to check a certain number of boxes for me.
Right.
So I'm just not feeling it. If I wanted a game like this, though, I think this is a very good option.
Yeah.
It's like the best option maybe for this kind of thing right now for me, but I have no desire to play one of these right now. So
okay, that's fair.
It's not the game's fault,
No, it's just Tom's fault per usual.
Yeah exactly.
For me, this, Tom, might actually be the first time I'm kind of curious to try an Ubisoft game outside of Rayman and Splinter Cell. Oh, and Prince of Persia, but that game's never coming back either. So, I'm still pissed off that they replaced that with Assassin's Creed. But anyway, with that all out of the way, I think I might actually play this game, and I think I might keep it. So, there you go. Well done, Ubi. And those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter at TC1H1D, or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And, if you're watching this on YouTube or whatnot, send us a comment down below. What did you think about this game? We'll try to respond as much as best as possible. And 1H1D is part of that QTV network. So if you like any cool, great gaming content, check it all out at quitthebuild.com/network. Tom.
Yes.
Let's find out, though. What are we playing next?
Yes. Let us go to the surprise me button and be surprised.
Yes. Here we go.
I guess there's also a possibility that we don't get surprised.
Yeah, you're right. I never thought of it that way. But we will be, as we are going to be playing Insurgency Sandstorm.
What? Is that a game?
That's a game. It's not the sequel to Darude Sandstorm, unfortunately.
Well, that's disappointing.
It's disappointing. It's already a negative. Guys, we are going to actually just say this is not a game for us at this point. But no.
It has nothing to do with Darude Sandstorm, so it must not be good.
It's not. Period. There's our thoughts for that game already. No, but that will be
saved you 30 minutes.
Yes, thanks, Tom. Thanks for that. But that is it for this episode. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into this one, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.